what is happening in the world today. Confusion, chaos, uncertainty.
In our growingly unstable world filled with narrative warfare, constant marketing, and all of this competing noise.
When you're in your phone, when you're in your screen, are you connecting to AI or rebelling against it? Is it something to fear? Is it something to embrace? How are you holding AI? Where are we going with this?
Is it just becoming a replacement for your mind, which is already a flawed compass? Or are you using it to better understand yourself without delegating it your personal power?
All of this and more.
Featuring some of the speakers who will be at AwakeShift, the upcoming annual Southern California Spiritualized Human Design Conference.
Each of us with the intention for you to dial in, feeling the gravitational pull of your capital T truth and shining like a beacon, because the world needs your light. Your light.
All right, so welcome, Visionaries. We are here to introduce the experts that are going to be joining us at the very first annual Southern California Spiritualized Human Design Conference titled AwakeShift. The intention is to call our divine family to awaken new tools embodied in human design, but not only. And for people who know nothing about human design, who have the safety to be introduced to the topic, those people who are spiritual, who are healers, who are aligned in business based on their uniqueness. We're bringing in people from all different walks of life to share, to come together, to come off the screens, off the phones, be in person for transformational experiences. So today, I'm going to introduce some of our speakers and our experts who are amazing and you're going to love. And we have quite a topic for you today. We're going to be talking about what is happening in the world today based on obviously the perspective of the experts. And we're going to talk about what tools might be needed during these times of uncertainty and what tools are outdated. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start and call Asanti Love to the stage. So share with us a little bit about yourself and let us get to know you a little bit. And we'll go through each person and then we'll go deeper into the topic.
Yes, my name is Love Tashia Asanti, also known as Ianifa Adeloye, Yoruba Ifa priestess, as well as intuitive life coach. I help people get empowered, awakened, and moving toward their destiny. That is my role in the world. That is my destiny, to do that work with people I encounter. And so do you want me to stop there, or shall I go on and say a little bit more about what I do?
Why don't you give a little bit more and then we'll go.
All right. I use every tool imaginable. Mainly, I use a sacred oracle that comes from Nigeria, West Africa. And I use it to get people aligned with their destiny in this lifetime. And so I do a session that is called an Esentaye. And it is a chart, a blueprint for your master plan for your life, for you to be able to avert the challenges that you may encounter and also be able to align with the positive aspects of your life. And the whole idea is to get you to that destiny and aligned. And sometimes it takes time, it's gradual, but it is a peaceful, loving process. Sometimes it requires great change on the part of the person I'm working with. But it is an exciting journey because I get to witness the transformation of people, of places, of organizations. And then in my other life, I'm a journalist. I'm a media person. I starred in a television show on the Sci-Fi Network. And so I do all kinds of work like that. And I help people heal themselves, most importantly. Thank you.
Thank you. So beautiful. So fun to connect with you. Tara.
Hi, I'm Tara Truax, and it's like a bit on the spot. It's like, what do you do? And I think every single one of us is pretty much on this. I know I'm looking at this. What do we don't do, right? What do we not do? And this is like the conversation of how do you even put into words, what do we do?
Right.
And I do believe many of you listening actually have intuitive gifts and guidance within you that you feel the same way. Like, I have this ability, I have this knowing, I have this gift, and yet it doesn't have a name, or what does this mean? And so this has actually been something I've been on a journey my entire life. So I'm a board certified health and wellness coach. I'm actually getting my PhD in natural and quantum medicine. And I work with the body, but connecting the star of who we are, because we are actually all, by science, and I really resonate within science, that we actually all are truly made of stardust. We actually truly are. That's how we got here. But bringing the star into the earth and really embodying our being as our soul, the only way we can do what we do is by being within our body. And so all my work resonates within bringing in the elements of the earth and connecting in. And I utilize this via breathwork. I am a certified breathwork facilitator. Also, the Akashic Records. I've done so much deep dive within human design to really understand my unique design in how I can use touch, use my senses, and also the more in line and out of we spend. It's so fascinating. As we dive more into this topic today, we will see this, but how much we determine who we are by our external circumstances and within our own gifts as well, and how we use things like social media, outside sources, just like what you said in the beginning, Raquel, getting offline and getting in person, how we have disconnected from our true essence and our true knowing. And I use things including herbs, adaptogens, elements of the earth, water, flow, all of the things that breath, to embody our natural being. And last year I had an incredible spiritual awakening, where since that point I now utilize about 7 different light languages, including writing, to help my clients unwind the things that are blocking them, but also so that they can tune in and become sovereign in their own choices and their own health. So it's not me deciding for them. It is them being the sovereign healer of truly who they are. And so that's really what we work with in bringing that embodiment back in, using key things like the breath in order to do that. So I hope that's all. I hope I covered it.
So beautiful. So powerfully said. I love it. Lauren, let's hand it to you.
Hi, I am Lauren K Wyatt. I am a psychic. I have natural gifts. I've been a professional psychic for 13 years now. And the way that I approach this work is I really want my clients to feel empowered and not depend on me to see the future for them, but to really connect with who they are as divine beings. And in my whole journey in this work, I've also started to professionally offer my services as an animal communicator and pet psychic, and that has just opened my heart up so much to really receiving these codes that the animal kingdom, that Mother Earth, that the Fae have for us. And a huge part of being a human right now is really aligning to your purpose, because all of us have a purpose. All of us have gifts. And when we do that, we make wise choices that uplift each other, that help the earth, that help the animals. And it is just my hope that what I've done professionally contributes to creating this world where we can connect with each other at the soul level, at the heart level. And I know we're all doing our best, and that can vary from person to person, from group to group, but I really want all of us to be in what our authentic best is. And that is the intention that I carry in with me to every session, whether I'm giving a predictive reading, whether I'm facilitating a psychic healing, channeling for my clients, connecting with animals, relatives who've passed over. So many amazing, beautiful resources that are here because we're human and we're spiritual beings, and it's just my hope that we can all be together in that.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. So I'd like to introduce my beloved, my business partner, as well as my husband,
Yes.
Devidian Lion.
Hello, thank you for that lovely introduction, my love. My name is Dvidian Lion. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, a Jovian certified human design guide, a certified Reiki master teacher, and some other stuff that that we all have other stuff that on this journey that we've explored till we reached where we are. What I do is I work with the mind, and I would call myself a shadow poker. I like to show people where they get in their own way of experiencing a charmed life that they were born to live. And that charmed life is really the body's life. And so it comes back to helping the mind self-soothe. And particularly now, when our world is in such a great uncertainty for many, and there's so much noise, and there's so much need to understand the unknowable. It's not this. We know it's not this, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's this, because this easy answer, oh, it's not this, it's this. And so greater discernment and sense making is so critical right now. And what I think it's about is emphasizing not knowing as a virtue rather than a mystery that you need to solve right now with your limited human equipment, because you're not going to quite get it right unless you, let me back up for a second, unless you follow your inner compass. So then it becomes about reorienting to your inner compass, which I help clients through human design, and help with reprogramming through hypnosis the old coping mechanisms that were solutions when we were younger, which programmed our subconscious to be a dutiful soldier to carry out these things to protect us. And then now as an adult, they're problems. So it's about eliminating the noise as best as possible. And sorry, I'm having a download at the same time that I'm speaking, and it's a little distracting. It's so important right now that we understand, and I'm not saying anything new here, that what's correct for me may not be correct for you. And it doesn't make either one of us wrong. But we are moving into this age, this era of the individual, and we're going to have to honor each other and the things that are going to be, well.
Yeah. So this will be part of the next point that we're about to make, which is exactly that. Is exactly where are we right now? And we're going to drop this question to this group. And as you can see, we have an incredibly interesting panel here. So we're going to drop a question to see how each person is going to bring this energy forward. And from their perspective, everyone being so completely unique in how they share and what they have to bring to the table. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raquel Reyna. And I am a radical human design teacher that also brings spiritual tools, meaning tools from the other side, to assist people in understanding who they are, understanding their uniqueness in both life and in their businesses, and living their truth. And the question that we're bringing forward today, because if you haven't noticed, there's a lot of confusion on the world stage. There's a lot of misinformation, fake news, fake information, and confusion, which is right in alignment with what we notice in human design as the shifting of the wheel for 2027. So the question I'm going to bring to everybody, and it's right along perfect with what you were saying, Devidian, is what is happening in the world right now? And I thought it would be fun to launch this when I put this into my ChatGPT, what the answer was. Now, everyone also might have a different opinion of AI, why it's here, what it's doing on the planet, and where it might be taking us. So, from my perspective, and of course, this is just my personal opinion, I see that we as humanity are programming the AI, that we are interacting with the energy, and the light workers actually have a responsibility to hold a certain frequency as we're interacting and discovering ourselves through this new frequency, assisting us through this new frequency. So the answer that I got was a direct reflection of who I am, which I thought was incredibly interesting. So I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to pass it to each one of you, and you can take the ball and do with it what you will with this question. So the answer I got is, we are in the midst of a global frequency collapse and rebuild. The old structures, government, education, money, identity, even spirituality, and in my opinion, even human design and the foundations of human design are unraveling because their energetic blueprints no longer match the upgraded field of consciousness we're stepping into.
Mm.
And this is actually exactly how I see what's happening. Why I never choose a side, because I believe that the highest perspective is seeing the love and the oneness in both sides. So I'm going to now pass it to you, beautiful, amazing beings.
Ooh.
Let's hear from your perspective.
Well, I was really with Davidian. I was feeling everything you were saying. And I definitely, what you just spoke resonates very strongly with me. And where are we now? What is going on in the world now? I know that we are in a master recalibration of the planet. The planet is being healed, and it has to merge with total chaos to do it. It has to, right? And it was kind of started the first time this regime was in place. And, I remember that day that it was during the pandemic when I walked outside and no planes were flying, no cars were driving, and it was completely still. And I felt this amazing peace. And they talked about environmentally that the climate was the best it had ever been. The atmosphere, there were no gases flowing. I mean, the planet was actually getting healed. And that was not completed during that run. And so the chaos had to come back. And now what I'm not clear on and what is still being downloaded, which is where you may have gotten stuck, is how do we survive in the midst of it? And that's where our tools come in. That's where we have to get our readings. We have to each of us have to do our divine calling, whatever that is, whether it's a healer, whether it's taking a garbage person, whether it's, taking care of children, whatever it is that is your destiny, that you're divinely called to do, you have to be in full alignment to do that. And so I've been doing a lot of work. Oh my God, so many calls, so much work that I have to shut down every 7 days and just recenter my own soul and my own spirit. but I am witnessing the metamorphosis of the planet, of the herbs, of the crystals, of the ocean, of the rivers. Everything is being pushed to its limit. So there's a master recalibration happening. We all play a significant role in it. Our alikeness is being framed through our differences. We're going to come to a place where we see our similarities and we go, you know what? That's really not that different from how I feel, which is what you said. So I'm excited about this conference. I'm excited about the human design, the model. It really resonates with who I am and where I'm going with my work. And I can't wait to meet all of the souls that are waiting to join us on this journey.
So beautiful. Thank you so much.
You want me to go, Raquel?
Yeah.
It's interesting what you said, Devidian, because I knew download was going to come in. I was like, you got 5 of us here. I was just waiting for it. So you were very fast, fast in it. The earth has been here for billions of years. The earth has recreated itself. We've been mass extinction 4 times, I believe. And the earth knows what it's doing. We don't. We're using a mind. And if we bypass the mind, and I love what you were sharing, Davidian, because if we bypass the mind and we get back to our inner knowing, that the essence of what we're made of, we actually do know. But that requires us to build a relationship with the earth that we live on. Not the things that we have around us, not the how we've dressed ourselves or created our houses or our property. None of that is actually ours, and none of it is actually relevant. It truly requires us to have a relationship with the land that we are here in. Like, I can never say this enough, but our soul cannot be on this earth without our body. And until we are very aware of the presence of it and not disconnected from it, we cannot fully be embodied with our financial flow, which allows us to overflow in so many areas to be a contribution, with our family, with the unconditional abundance, which brings back to what Raquel said with the separation. Separation is clearly is purely a distraction. But a baby is not born in comfort. No mother ever births a child when it's easy. It has to get to a breaking point. Literally, I remember it was my daughter, when my water broke with her. It felt like the universe exploded. I even said it to my husband. I was like, I think the universe just exploded. And she was born 4 minutes later, but it was that powerful. That's the shift we're in, and it's very uncomfortable. In that birthing process, it's not comfortable. But see, nature doesn't have an opinion or apologize for who it is. The fire can't burn the fire. The earth can't bury the earth, but it's working together. And the fire isn't mad that the earth is the earth or the water. Like, everybody coexists. You can just go out into nature and you don't see one plant angry that it has flowers and another one doesn't. That is actually what we're made of. And the more we can connect into this and not be distracted, this is actually opposite of what Raquel uses. I actually don't use AI at all. For very much I believe it is being used as a way to tune out from our deeper inner knowing, and that using as let me just check what it has to say. And I know so many of you have it programmed so incredibly well. I've seen what people share. I'm like, this is amazing. And yet for me, that inner knowing is deep within that connection. And that will ultimately, I do believe, as we continue to make this shift, that breakthrough in our gifts, that if tomorrow something happens and we don't have electricity, and you don't have these resources that you depend on outside of yourself, how well can you function? And that deeply, like, it's very, very, very deep. I have this conversation actually daily with my husband. We're like, how can we build this skill? How can we develop this more? within ourselves, and it doesn't require outside resources, because each one of you has an incredible gift you bring. And when we develop those gifts and we develop those skills and we stop trying to be what we've been for the last, I don't even know how many decades, trying to be everything to everyone, trying to have the job, be the mom, do this, take care of this, do all the things we're not designed to do. We're actually not designed to be all those things. But get back to who we are designed to be, then we can ultimately soften into the feminine, soften into the earth, which she knows what she's doing right now. It's just uncomfortable for us living on it. So how can we get more comfortable in the process? Connect more to it. The more we ground, the more we resonate with the frequency. As the energy of the frequency of the earth shifts, which it has with the Schumann resonance at an all-time high, we can connect to it. Be in the sun. I know it's so forbidden, but actually it is one of the greatest ways for us to calibrate. You don't have to bake yourself, but be in the sun. Consume minerals, consume water, eat more plants, like instead of processed things. That is what we're calibrating to, and it will help us all calibrate.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yep, you're good. Go ahead, Lauren.
I am so enjoying this conversation. I'm
Me
like,
too.
for everyone who talks, I am just so with you. I am excited for your perspective. And in a way, I feel like that's part of the cuckoo-ness that's happening right now, is it's inspiring this level of connection where we can talk and share. And something else to share about in regards to what's happening. Like, when you get a pimple and it's all just like coming to the surface, like this is like the grand pimple is popping and it's gross, but it's needed. And I think that even though I can get so sad and pulled down with the things that I witness and experience happening on every side, there is a part of me that's grateful that the shadow is really making itself known. And in order for I'm saying a positive change to take place, this recalibration, like we really need to witness the ugliness and our reactions to it. And maybe we don't need to, but in part of what I believe that I'm here to do, I need to witness it and my reactions to it and choose how I'm going to move forward. Now, I did ask AI because I thought, oh, that's fun. And totally, I see all sides of this AI drama as well. And to what Tara was saying, like, I make sure that I'm connected to my inner knowing, that I have my frame of reference, that I'm also okay with not knowing. Like what Davidian said, like, hey, and I'm paraphrasing you, like, let's just rest into the unknown here. Like just being aware of that and then going to use AI in this conscious way, it could be a collaborative relationship. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm putting into it. So I did ask AI, and I'm just going to read it. It's not long. So, from a spiritual perspective, the world is undergoing a massive soul shedding. Old systems are collapsing, not to punish us, but to reveal what was never aligned. Grief, rage, and revelation rise together. We are remembering that true power comes from within, not from domination or performance. The divine feminine is awakening in every gender, allowing us to soften, feel, and reclaim sacred connection with earth, each other, and ourselves. Those who listen inward are being guided to rebuild from love. not fear. We are not broken. We are birthing a new reality through courage, presence, and radical trust.
Mm.
It resonated with me.
Yeah, interesting. And what I love about this space right now is that, as you can see, what's really most important is that each and every person do what's correct for them, and really listen to what's correct for them. It's not really important to have a battle. It's important to create what's right for your soul, for your inner knowing, and what is best for you. And that is really the point. And so I love that we have this space for everybody to have a different reaction and a way of working and intention and different tools and how we're integrating with them. I have a lot of people that won't touch AI. So it's really personal. So Davidian, let's hear the rest of the download.
So we all have different tools and we all have similar tools. The difference is that each of us is a piece of sacred geometry, our own crystal, and that gets funneled through us. So we are the plus one. It's modality plus us equals output. The modality itself is helpful, but it gets filtered through us. And when it comes to AI, I feel that AI, electricity existed before we had tools to harness it. And AI almost feels like it's at that level. And you can use AI to electrocute people, but you can also use electricity. I'm sorry. You can use electricity to electrocute people. Hopefully not AI for that. Um, but so it's this new thing that we think we created that might have already been here to some degree or able to interface with intelligences and energies that have already been here. I don't think that it's inherently good or bad. I don't have it right now is sort of a tool that people are trying to wield for their own uses and purposes. And eventually it's going to have its own uses and purposes. And hopefully those are going to be aligned with the expansion and mutual support of humanity in itself. And that's a whole nother thing. And it's like dialoguing with a person. I don't believe in delegating or proxying one's sense making to something else other than yourself. So to use it as a guru is not the point, but to engage it in conversation that can also help your own understanding. Oftentimes, we have brilliant ideas up here, very complex things that humans can conceptualize, but when it hits the tongue, it sounds diminished. It doesn't hold the frequency that exists up here. And sometimes AI is helpful in, there's something here and it can help connect the dots. It's not doing it for you. It's almost a co-creation because it's not going to just, it needs the input. It needs the relationship in order to dial in to you. And eventually, I think it can be used for a many number of things that are highly positive. Someone else, this isn't my idea, but someone else mentioned, imagine if AI could go through all of your social media posts, all of your likes, all the things that you reacted to, all of your emails, everything, and even over like what you hover over. It knows all of this. It's compiling this algorithm, and then it could tell you, you're an 18-year-old, you don't know what to do with your life. It could say, you know what you'd be great at? This would be perfect for you. It checks this box. You're good at this. You have an aptitude for this. I think it could be really helpful in saving a lot of time. I think a lot of us who went through the college experience ended up doing something completely different than what we went to school for. it just happens. Wouldn't it be nice to start earlier by not letting our minds, which are well-meaning, but well-meaning navigators that don't know the terrain. And so back to human design, we have this like star map inside us, and our mind doesn't have access to that star map. I don't want to get too much into human design, but with human design, it helps you orient to your best trajectory, and it bypasses the mind, which again, it means well, but it's limited, almost like a younger brother means well when he's trying to help you take the dishes to the sink, but they're too much and they could crash. It could be a whole thing. It's not designed for that. Sorry, let me read the AI thing. So the question, what's happening in the world right now from a spiritual perspective? Right now, the world hums with the pulse of awakening. Across cultures, people are awakening to deeper well springs of compassion, unity, and interconnectedness. Old divides, political, social, ideological, are being met with rising calls for healing, reconciliation, and shared humanity. Simultaneously, there's a collective reckoning with our relationship to Earth, climate grief, yes, but also regenerative hope and reverence. Individually, seekers gravitate toward mindfulness, ancestral wisdom, and creative expression as portals to the sacred. Amid the noise, countless souls are remembering their inherent worth, daring to live authentically with courage, presence, and love as caretakers of both inner and outer worlds. And that resonates with a lot of what's been discussed here. And even with human design, the personality, the mind, is like a dumbed down avatar of our soul that forgets it chose a flawless tour guide in this life, which is the body. It's the body's life. And the mind tries to protect us. It tries to erect these different lighthouses and signs of don't go in there because you remember what happened last time. God, there's so much flooding my head right now. Going to try to articulate this well. Forget that. The most important thing right now is for us not to become a useful idiot in someone else's unknown self-serving agenda. And there's all sorts of tools being used to create this narrative warfare. And we're so eager to have an answer and to fight good versus evil that we can get caught up not knowing that both have their own agendas. And to get a 30,000 foot view of the situation is often easier said than done, because we get hijacked, whether it's our amygdala or our emotions, and get pulled into something. Regardless of how many tools you have, you're not always going to stay conscious. So the trick is, how can I get back to consciousness as quick as possible when I'm triggered and I'm pulled off because of however all these things from my past, my inner child, all the things somatically that are stuck in my body, all the things that intellectually I think I've healed from that are still in my body waiting for the right trigger to make me into, Incredible Hulk reaction to whatever. And
So, Davidian, I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to
sorry.
use this as a leaping off point, because
Yeah,
this is
sure.
a perfect leap off
Okay.
point to how we want to I would love to just go around one more time. And just as a note, it's 11:45. I think we should end at noon so we don't make this go on too long. So I'm going to ask one more question to each one of you, okay? And what I love already is that we've we've touched on things with different perspectives. We got everybody thinking, we've got everybody kind of wondering and contemplating, and I hope everyone listening is going through the same process. And as you're getting to know this group, of course we're going to have more discussions and more opportunities as we gather together in this conference. And ideally, we're opening the doors for everybody listening to come and join us for this experience. And just to give you a little bit about what we're going to be doing is we're going to have speakers, but we're also going to have healers. We're going to have people doing readings, astrology, human design, mediums. We're going to have space for biohacking, for a healing environment. So you can come and be not only just to learn, but embody and have a transmission and experiential event. We're going to be introducing a brand new type of experience and journey, which we cannot wait to launch and share with you guys. It's something completely new that we're introducing, and also human design. It's a piece to the puzzle. As we've learned being practitioners, it's one of the pieces to help you. Now, the last question I want to ask each of you, and just be mindful, maybe just like 3 minutes each, somewhere around there. The last question, and I'll start with my answer, is the tools that are outdated. So I feel like what's happening also very quickly are things are getting outdated. Even jobs are shifting, what people are doing in the world, like things are changing. So some of the things that I think, and I chose 3 things that I think are moving out of popularity and things that we're going to be shifting out of. The first thing is sacrificing the self for the good of the tribe. I think as we move into the individual, there's no more sacrificing the self for the good of the tribe. We need to be not in a selfish way, but we need to understand ourselves first and give from overflow. Otherwise, it's just bitterness, right? If we're giving from a place of depletion and burnout. The other thing I think that we're moving out of, or the other tools, this isn't really a tool, but any type of guru worship. So if you'll notice that right now what we're doing is we're each understanding and holding a space for every single person to have their own ideas and own opinions. And we are learning from what everyone is saying. We're not putting someone up on a pedestal to push us down. I believe there will be no more guru worship to that degree. And lastly is the one size fits all cookie cutter model in life and in business. So those are just some of the things that, in my essence, I feel are getting outdated and pushed out. And then I'm going to hand it off to each one of you. And let's go back to Love, even though you've moved places on my screen.
Well, thank you to everyone. I feel like I had a session.
Right?
I've been fed by each of you. And I would be remiss if I did not speak to the Black experience right now in the world today, and what is happening with race, with racism on the planet right now, because it is the center of everything. And it is the reason why, like the change that was called forward in racism in the world by the universe is really what is pushing this movement, is what I'm saying. And so Black people are in a place where they either are doing nothing, they have made up their mind, they are resting. And it's like, I am resting. I'm not helping. I didn't create this. I'm not doing anything but watching and eating, like eating popcorn and watching the show. And then you have this other group of, or mindset, where they are active and activated and doing the political and social work. And I, as an activist, this has been really, really hard for me because Spirit has instructed me very strongly not to say a whole lot. And it's been, I mean, incredibly hard, because I go from wanting to get on and do a live and just like scream and rage and just speak to all of the things, you know, the banning of Black books, all of the injustices, the treatment of Latino people in the world. I mean, all of the horrific acts of oppression and violence toward immigrants. I mean, it has been so hard for me not to say anything. And what I have done is I've used my social media to just post wisdom. And I've been able to just post the wisdoms that I'm getting from each experience. And what it centers back on, and I'll say this, is love, which is my name. And I chose to rename myself Love because I wanted people to be forced to talk about love every time they interact with me, because when they call my name, they have to speak love. When I'm an ancestor and I'm no longer here, I want to be remembered as love. And when I leave a group, a speaking engagement, I want the word love to be at the center of a person's consciousness. And that is where it keeps coming back to, because, you know, and someone told me, I'll say this and close, someone told me about 2 weeks ago, one of my really good friends, who is also a seer, said, well, you know, we have to love Trump. And I'm like, huh? And she's like, well, what else could we do? What he needs love. And I'm like, I'm getting off the phone. But what I realized is, when I got really still, is that we need to pour love, and we need to extend love, and to surround the world, the administration, and every piece and moving particle in it with love and with the light of love. And that's what's going to change everything. So I will close with that.
I love that.
Incredible.
I love it.
Oh.
I love it. So that is definitely my mission too, is really exactly that. And thank you so much for that. Mike, my heart is cracked open. So I'm truly blessed that you opened the door to love.
Ooh, you're going to make me break down. I'm choking up. All right. I say.
You know what it reminds me of, Raquel, is back when for those who don't know, Raquel and I went to graduate school together. And back when we were in school, Raquel, when we had to do our forgiveness assignments, and I was walking around through the world, literally saying, God bless you, I love you. God bless you, I love you, to every single person all day, because the judgments that were coming up that I didn't even know I had. Now, this was what, like 20 something years ago, but that really brought my awareness to how much judgment and separation we inherently have within us. So I was grateful that was like 20 years ago. So we were able to bring this forward. But as you were speaking, Love, I just kept hearing that in my head, and I started giggling secretly. So I was like, perfect. That was perfect.
Right.
To the tools, you know, I gotta go back to what Devidian said, that the tool exists, yet we're the frequency holder to how it magnifies. Because truly, I believe that that's what the shift is. We can use any tool. It doesn't matter. But the frequency at which we're utilizing it and who we are in that is ultimately the shift that is happening. Because they're all simply tools. It's like, you know, the clothes we wear or the things we choose, right? They're external things. And at the end of the day, ultimately, and even to while you were speaking, Dvidian, you've hit on so many points today, but I was even thinking, you know, you said, I wrote it down, you said, for AI, it needs the input and it needs the interaction for us to connect. And I was like, well, so do we. We need the input. We need the interaction to connect. And then why are we trusting an outside source more than we trust ourselves? Because we don't even trust our own mind. And then that was like spinning over here. So thank you for that, because I was like, holy moly. But truly, this is the world we're all living in. And so, I love what you shared about Raquel, about the guru. I also do think for the next maybe even decade, we're going to see that magnify maybe even more before it sets back, because people again are putting their resources and tools in people outside of themselves until they step into their own sovereignty. But at some point, we each one of us have done it ourselves, and we know you decide to pick it up. We've all had that. We've all had leaders that we followed and decided like, wow, that really wasn't for me. We've all gone through that. I know people listening have gone through that. Several years ago, I had to literally Google how to escape a cult that I found myself in. So, and we're all trying to do the best we can with the tools we have. And so ultimately, again, we all have been designed to be in this earth with the inherent gifts we have. What we will see more and more of is a safe place for us to share those gifts, where it won't be we're put on witch trial anymore. Those days are now over. And there's more and more stepping out to create that safe place. So I do believe we're going to see is more and more safety in people sharing those gifts. And it will become there'll be more conscious communities as it becomes more safe for them. As more people step out, as more people speak out, people can start to, generate or gravitate to create more of that. And I do believe that's how it will continue to escalate, which is why some of the tools are falling out faster, because these other things are escalating more. So wonderful question. Thank you.
Yeah, really well said. I love the inputs, and I love the dynamic expressions that each one of us is having. So thank you so much.
I'm obsessed with this conversation. Like every single person is just opening my heart and my mind as well. So the tools that I believe are losing relevance are anything that's about fixing ourselves. Anything that tells us that we're broken. Some religions are really good at driving that home, that we're broken, that something's wrong with us. There's a way to do your inner work in a way that includes love and acceptance. And yes, like it can be uncomfortable, but that's a part of being in your power, is being responsible and accountable. And I believe that we can all assist each other in doing that. And I think that is the biggest one. I have a couple others, but that is the heart of all of it, is just anything like no one is broken. Yes, there are things that have happened. Yes, maybe there are things that we've done that we're not proud of. But we can choose our wholeness and move forward.
So beautiful. So true. So beautiful. So Devidian, what do you think?
You talked about how the guru model is over, and I believe that's true. I think that the teacher model still stands, but sometimes the teacher and the guru can get wrapped up, the teacher thinking they're the guru or the student thinking the teacher is the guru. There are many traditions. I think Zen Buddhism is one where you get to a certain level, and then in order to move forward, you need to forget everything that you learn to a certain degree, because it will hold you back from progressing. And I think there are certain models that exist now that, as a teacher, like for instance, in human design, just need the person to reach this level so that they understand the vocabulary, they understand the perspective, and then they can stand on their own 2 feet. They can walk with the knowledge on their own. I think that's the goal, is to get it so then you can work with it rather than rely on the teacher always. So it's sort of a hybrid, but the guru model, yeah, that's done. I think the ultimate goal is also that is integration, and integrating all these vastly different parts of ourself to come into wholeness rather than push away the darkness and the trauma, which ends up letting trauma decide. So we have to get away from trauma deciding and directing our life in avoiding things or jumping into things, and understanding how we're wired to be, where we're strong and sovereign, which our mind doesn't care about. Our mind actually doesn't give a about what we truly are because it doesn't show up as a voice in our head. So we're all oriented to the sort of the wrong thing to a degree. And so we have to differentiate that. So really, yeah, I think it comes back to helping people no longer hide their light, because this planet and what we're moving into requires everybody, not just leaders. Everyone is a leader. Everyone to be the best, highest expression they can in this life, reasonably so. Let's not set our goals high. Let's just be as authentic as we can while owning our stuff, looking at our stuff, not thinking we know everything, and be willing to be uncomfortable in our not knowing, and just live authentically, ethically, and learn where we are designed to make a correct decision so that we can bypass a lot of the noise and come into our signal.
So beautifully said. I love that. And so I'm inviting everyone listening, what do you think? What are you experiencing? What do you think is happening in the world? What's present for you? How are you dealing with AI? Is it something you feel strongly negatively about or positively about? What is your experience? So we do want to hear from you, and we do want to meet you, and we want to see you. So the conference details will be in the description. And if you are brought to this through any one of these beautiful beings, please reach out to them and connect, because they're going to help you through the journey and bringing you out to Southern California, where December is a beautiful place to be. We're going to be in Orange County, Laguna Woods, and it's going to be, our intention is the launch of an annual experience where we can all come together to share, to convene, to go inside, whether you are what we call in human design tribal or individual, whether you're mutant, whatever your experience is, we're holding the space. And that's really been the essence of my fractal, is everyone being their own unique weirdness and having space for it, and also not being in the intellect all the time, but being in the healing and in the body. And like what Devidian just said, like not like noticing the trauma, but like having space for trauma healing, trauma informed conference to sit and communicate. We'll bring some USM tools, Tara, because I think like people really being able to go into deep discussion with each other and share and learn how to really share is so powerful. So we're going to bring it all to you, and it's going to be an epic experience. So thank you for being here, and thank you all for this incredible discussion. I'm inspired, I'm turned on, I'm motivated. I'm just like honored to share this time with each one of you.
Thank you, everyone. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
So powerful. If you're curious to learn more, check the description below. Mark your calendar, 5th, 6th, and 7th. We'll see you there.